Hi there, it's Miss Jones again from Sew with Miss Jones. In our last lesson, we pinned all the pattern pieces on your felt. Let's get all of your felt pieces with the pattern pieces attached and your fabric scissors. Before we start cutting, do one more last check. None of the cutting lines should be off the edge of the felt. All of the pins are inside the cutting line. Make sure your pattern pieces are placed so that you have enough space to cut the number of copies that you need, like 2 feet, 2 ears, 2 eyes, and so on. See how I am holding the scissors. The thumb goes in the smaller hole, your last 3 fingers go in the bigger hole, and I keep my pointer out to help me guide the scissors as I use them. Because I am right-handed, I'm going to cut counterclockwise. This way I can see the line as I am cutting. If you are left-handed, then cut clockwise. That helps you lefties see the line. I'm going to start with the largest piece, and that's my elephant, the body pieces. And I'm going to cut carefully around the elephant's body right next to the line. I'm going to try not cutting off the line, but right next to it. Work slowly and move in a clockwise motion if you are right-handed and counterclockwise if you are left-handed. So I'm having to redo the eyeballs because apparently my camera didn't work when I was cutting them out the last time. So I actually am going to cut the pupil out one at a time. And in fact, I think I'm just going to cut this little chunk off first just to make it a little bit easier to do. All right? So remember, we don't want to hit the pin with our scissors at all because it damages the blades. And actually for this, you're better off if you can use just the tips. You have a little more control if you use the tips. So if you notice, I started right after the pin. I didn't touch the pin. And I'm going to keep going until I get around here to where the pin is over there. Now I'm going to slide this pin all the way back so it's not hanging over the edge. And I'm going to turn this in my hand. And then I'm going to finish going around, trying to use just the tips because you have a little better control. Oh my goodness, this was a problem I had before, as my hands weren't in the screen. All right, I'm going to do it one more time. If you notice I get a little bump right there, I'm going to just kind of snip that off so it's a little more round. Ish. It just has to be kind of round-ish. Alrighty. And actually, if you want to, like I could do this without even putting a pin in it, as long as I am keeping my thumb on it and not letting it move. So I'm just going to trim. I'm just going to trim around the edge. Okay, so I don't even have the pin in there. Just my thumb is holding it. And then I'm going to stop and shift my thumb so I can still keep working in a circle. Why is it so hard to keep me in the middle of the screen? And then just keep doing that. Sasha, stop. Shh. Okay, so I have two of them. I am actually going to take the other one that I already cut out, put them together, and I am going to pin them. And I'm not just going to pin them like that. I actually am also going to pin onto one of the bigger pieces, just because I do not want to lose those little tiny pieces like that. Just in case, because you have really tiny ones, I would hang on to the extra chunks that you have for if you have eyeballs or if you have anything that's really tiny, hang on to those extra chunks, just in case you lose one and you got to start over again. Okay, we're almost done with cutting. One of the things that I generally do after I cut everything out is I flip it over to the back side and I check the edges to make sure that I don't have any little points that aren't supposed to be there. Like there's a little one right there, and I'm just going to use the tip of my scissors to clip that little thing off, because these are supposed to be kind of rounded, not square. But honestly, if you have a little point there, it's not going to hurt anything. I'm just kind of a perfectionist about stuff. But you can do that with all of them just to make sure that you're mostly round. Okay, and then we've got that. Be careful with the small pieces so they end up the same shape that you want for the pattern. Leave the pattern pieces on, except if you need to reuse it for something. And if you notice, when I got done with the pupils, I put them together with a pin and the paper. Make sure that you put all of your cutout pieces in your plastic bag so that you don't lose any of them. Don't throw away your bigger scraps because we're going to use some of these to practice our hand stitches. Put them in the bag for later. You notice I put my guide sheet in my plastic bag so I don't lose it. And see you next time when we learn how to do our hand stitches, and you're going to do some practicing on those bigger scraps. Bye for now.